Hey guys, welcome back. Got some progress on the 67 Plymouth GTX we've been working on. Motor's coming along fine. Got pulleys mounted, alternators mounted. I end up using the original resin alternator that I had in my stash that I showed you that video on how to make brackets for alternators. So it actually turned out pretty good, so I just used that one on this motor. I've got a distributor in place. We still have to wire it up to the valve covers to the spark plugs. Air cleaners are all mounted. Got a fuel filter on there. Run down to the fuel pump. And we've got a couple of oil breathers on there as well on the valve covers. Air cleaners. To get these air cleaners to work on here, the carburetors on this kit come joined in the center, so the carburetor, the dual carbs are all one piece. So what I had to do to use these air cleaners was space the carburetors out a little bit. So I cut the tab off, the joining tab between the two carbs, and just space the carbs out a little bit to accommodate these air filters. So they turned out really good. As I said, pulleys are mounted. Everything's kind of ready to go here. We still have our distributor to wire. We've got vacuum line on this side. We've got to run to intake manifold. I've got to do that. And we still have to run our belt. The belt will be the last thing that goes on there before it goes in chassis. But it's coming along pretty good. We'll get that out of the way. Hang on one sec. You know my chassis are not a whole lot to look at. But I've got shocks in there. We painted those yellow. Front suspensions all in place. Exhaust, what I did was use the stock exhaust, but I cut off the tailpipes at the back of the muffler here, and just used some filed a hole slot in them, and again used some solder and tweaked those under the rear diff and out the back side, and we'll figure out how we're going to exit that when the model's pretty much finally done. And we'll throw some little aluminum tips on there. So chassis is ready to go. Body's still in the same state. Body I haven't done anything to yet. We'll bring the interior in. Been working on motor and interior. Hang on, I'll dump this. Yeah, we're going back up. Hang on. So we got door panels done. Going back down. Got a two-tone, blue and white. Basically same color the body's going to be. So I masked off the... basically what I did was primed it with Tester's white primer first. Then masked off the white area. And painted the blue. And then to get more of a, rather than a shiny finish on door panels and things, I sprayed it with Tester's Dull Coat, just to dull the shine down a little bit so it looks more like an interior tone. Door panels turned out good. Interior tub, we just finished embossing powdering that last night, and it turned out pretty darn good. We got a few spots that we should have touched up before we finally put our embossing powder on. Right in the corners in here, and a bit along the edge back there, and back in this corner again. But when the interior is assembled, you're not going to see that anyway. But overall, it turned out really good. I'm happy with it. And again, dull coat on the seats, just to take a bit of the shine off to give it kind of more of a duller look. But other than that, interior tub's ready to go. Dashboard turned out pretty good. Oh, is this going to work? Hang on, we're going up. Going up. Come on, focus. You can do it. Basically just painted the whole dash white, and then I used my Elmer's adhesive tack, rolled out some really thin sections of this, like really thin, especially along the bottom section. the bottom section here, up and around and along and up to here, and then back around and up to there. You know, covered up the dash face with Elmer's adhesive tack, and same as the glove box area. And then once that all dried, I went over it with a toothpick and Molotow, and just went around the edge and around the edge of the glove box, around the edge of the dash face, just to highlight the division between the two colors. But it actually turned out pretty good. So interior is ready to get assembled and put together. As I mentioned, the body's still in the same state. Once we get interior buttoned up and together, and motor a little closer to finalization to go in chassis, we'll go at the body. But so far so good, guys. And as usual, thanks for stopping by. And maybe next video we'll show you a motor and chassis and interior all glued together and assembled. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.